Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Good Boxing Podcast with your host, Josh Shies. And I'm going to jump right in this episode. The episode today is on what should Anthony Joshua do in terms of making changes in order to win his Alexander Usyk rematch. I immediately saw that upon losing, Anthony Joshua went shopping for a new trainer. And honestly, at this point, you've given McCracken several years to help you, and you have to be very, very grateful for the level that he took you. However, in this case, you are facing an anomaly, and right now, his first crack at Alexander Usyk wasn't a very sound one. I know people like to say that the fight was close. The fight was never close. Alexander Usyk beat Anthony Joshua soundly, and honestly, in a rematch, I just don't see if Anthony Joshua were to keep the same trainer and keep the same camp and keep everything the same, basically being in a vacuum of the first fight. I just don't see Anthony Joshua being able to pull it off. You're not going to outbox Alexander Usyk. Now, what should he do? First things first, change trainer, right? You're looking for a trainer. I understand that at this point you got two losses, and in both losses, it seemed like you just weren't prepared for what you were fighting. They were both fights that you weren't really looking forward to having. They weren't fights that were on your radar. Remember, Anthony Joshua was going to fight Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua was going to fight Big Baby Davis when he lost to Andrew Ruiz. So at this point, now you have to switch trainers, repackage Anthony Joshua as someone that, hey, maybe he learned something new. The fans can kind of buy the narrative, and then the Anthony Joshua train continues if somehow he were to muster a miracle in beating Usyk in a rematch. However, one thing I just don't get is I think Anthony Joshua is looking in the wrong direction for this fight. I don't think you need to be a dog or you need to learn to be a dog. Either you are a dog or you're not. And Anthony Joshua isn't a dog. He's not someone that likes to bang and go forward and this tremendous one punch knockout artist. He is a perennial boxing first. He has a perennial boxing first mentality. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you have to call a spade a spade. What I do think he needs to do is shop around. I saw he was looking at Ronnie Shields, who trains the Charlo twins. I saw he was looking at the Canelo team. Um, I saw he was looking at Shane McGuigan. There's a bunch of different places that Anthony Joshua is going to look for coaching. And I just think he's looking in the wrong place and doesn't really understand what he has to do to win this fight. I don't think pressure from Anthony Joshua going to Ronnie Shields, and I know Shields has trained tremendous fighters. He's trained Rigondeaux, he's trained the Charlo twins, and the list goes on and on. But Erislandy Lara. But I think the Canelo team's a bad look as well. Canelo is Canelo. I don't know if Eddie Reynoso has a style that can one affect an Usyk. Like Usyk has a very specific style that, believe it or not, is very amateur centric, but he's a tremendous boxer and uses IQ over 12 rounds, basically very similar to Alexander Usyk's stablemate, Lomachenko. So I don't think Ronnie Shields is the answer. I don't think Canelo team is the answer. Yeah, Canelo is Canelo, but Ryan Garcia struggled against a southpaw until he did it. So I don't think Anthony Joshua is going to really learn much from Canelo. Like, I hate saying that, but they're not the same person. Just because Canelo is the best in the world right now on the pound for pound list doesn't mean that you go to Canelo to beat the person in front of you. You have to beat Alexander Usyk. So when you're picking a trainer, pick a trainer that knows how to fight lefties, specializes in neutralizing lefties, has trained some of the best lefties in the world, in my opinion. Um, it's not the Canelo team. It's not Ronnie Shields, right? It's not Teddy Atlas. It's none of these guys, right? It's not Derek James, and that's no knock on them. But There's one man that honestly just beat one of the best southpaws of all time in Manny Pacquiao, and that's Ismael Salas. You saw Yordenis Ugas put on a clinic versus Manny Pacquiao. You know that you have to deal with an angular opponent. He is a Cuban boxing trainer from that school where you're going to learn how to neutralize a lot of the things that Usyk does. Yeah, you're not going to outbox Usyk, but you need to know what you're fighting and you need to prepare ultimately for the task in front of you. And I do think that Ismael Salas at a Salas Boxing Academy, who basically had one of the biggest upsets of the year so far, and Yordenis Ugas beating Manny Pacquiao on 3 weeks' notice. You see how good he's fought southpaws. You see the work that he's putting in, and he's dealt with Cuban amateur stars, national finalists. He's dealt with some of the best fighters in the world. They come to him to polish their game. One, AJ needs to work on his basics. Why not go to the Ismael Salas Boxing Academy, which basically is a basics factory? You work on basics. He'll teach you the basics on how to fight a southpaw, and he will show you and prepare you for the things that you were not prepared for. Anthony Joshua is a gold medal boxer. He's familiar with the amateur style, right? But in this particular fight, you were fighting a better amateur than you. So why not fight someone that, why not find someone that ultimately will help you win the fight? So Canelo team sounds sexy. Yeah, AJ X Canelo DAZN would literally bust from all the excitement of being able to say Canelo and Anthony Joshua are working in tandem. The promotion will be fantastic. But at the end of the day, AJ, you need to win this fight or you are going to fall out of that top 5 conversation. You're no longer going to be one of the best heavyweights in the division. You will be talented for sure. You are formidable, but you won't be the top 3, in my opinion. That would become not Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Usyk, and then Wilder you have to put ahead of him. And maybe if Dillian White beats Tyson Fury, he'll get in that conversation. But if Anthony Joshua loses to Usyk, in my opinion, he falls behind even, you know what, I won't put Andy Ruiz up there because we haven't really seen him do much as of late. But yeah, I think Salas is the answer for Anthony Joshua. He'll help him how to fight a southpaw. And also he's going to work on his fundamentals and really bring out what Anthony Joshua is. And that's an educated boxer. You put a little pressure, you add in a little wrinkles, prepare him for things he's not going to be surprised for. He already saw Usyk, so he knows what he needs. And trust me, Salas is going to help him out. But he's probably not going to go with Salas. He'll go somewhere else. And honestly, I don't blame him. But if he wants to win, I think Ismael Salas is the guy for him. Well, that's the episode for today. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you think Anthony Joshua should choose as a trainer? I just go in terms of my opinion, I go based off what I would do as a coach in order to attack a problem. And truthfully, I think Ismael Salas has some of the best information on how to fight southpaws. Can Anthony Joshua execute it? You're fighting a special southpaw, right? If you want to package yourself as something that's on the up and up, maybe you pick the Canelo team. That's what I would pick because people love Canelo. I think Canelo has just basically made himself the #1 draw in boxing. But Canelo is Canelo. Like Eddie Reynoso and Canelo have been training for 17 years. He trained with his dad. So that's going to take a long time to kind of create a once-in-a-generation superstar like Canelo. Is Anthony Joshua going to be able to do that in 6 months? No. So then you have to pick who's going to give you the best tactical game plan. And that's why I'm picking Ismael Salas. Let me know in the comments. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at Good Boxing Podcast and the YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, hit that bell. Thank you. Have a great day.